Hello and welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury and this is...
Andy Mack.
Come on, we did the handshake. We got Oz there and you've got something new. As always, Andy, you never come empty-handed.
I never do. So you probably remember a product called an APC40. So we've had a few iterations over the years, and this is our brand new next generation of APC, which is the APC64. So first thing you see when you look at this is touch strips.
Tons of touch strips.
Yeah, so you know we've kind of completely redesigned the product, and it really integrates seamlessly with Ableton, but also it gives you so much hands-on control as well. So you've got the 8x8 grid that gives you all of the flexibility for launching clips, playing notes, drum mode, you know, if you want to do drum racks. So we'll go through some of that. But one of the key factors is that you can integrate and you can kind of seamlessly express yourself as you're kind of playing drums and playing synths by using all of the touch strips, by, you know, mapping it to, you know, rack effects and all, you know, and building up your own custom effects as well, because it just adds a whole new dimension of just interacting with your music. So other things we've got, so the 8x8 grid, so when you're in notes mode, it's got poly aftertouch as well, so it's velocity and poly aftertouch. So it's got an inbuilt step sequencer, which is 8 tracks, 32 steps, and you can use that in conjunction with Ableton, but you can also put it into standalone mode. So then you've got 8-track standalone to drive CB gate MIDI, so you can rack this up with all of your external hardware, modular, and then, you know, you can map these touch strips to do cut-off resonance, whatever you want. So it functions in so many different ways for so many users. Or you can, you know, again, if you're using it in conjunction with Ableton, you can send a clip. So anything you do on the step sequencer, you can just use send to clip, send it straight into Ableton. And again, if you're using it in standalone mode, if you create some awesome patterns with all of your, you know, all of your modular stuff and synths, whatever you're using, you can just send all that data straight back into Ableton. So it covers so many different types of users, and it's so versatile at the same time. So let me play you something, or actually, give me a few questions.
One thing that you let slip, and we never normally do on a video, is talk price. And that was the thing that both Oz and I went, what? Can you say the price?
I can.
What's it going to be?
359.
Come on, let's dive into the music then.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, there's so many Ableton users out there, but when you look at the 8x8 grid, this really kind of innovates that whole technology, because again, like when you're touching these strips, and you might have seen the video that we did with Carl Ragg, that, you know, that guy, anyone who's watched that video, he actually sent me the performance in one take. And it was mind-blowing. Like when we filmed the whole thing, it was just crazy, just seeing someone of what they can do when they interface with these strips. And he's going to do a kind of a live talk through of how he kind of created the whole project and stuff. But it's pretty insane. So let me play you something, and then I'll build it up in real time and kind of show you how we can put it together. And then we can kind of integrate it with the clip. So basically, I've got track selects down the bottom. So as you can see, I'm jumping through all of my Ableton tracks, okay? We've got session view, so you can see my layout of my clips, okay? Then we've got notes mode. So I've got drum racks here, so here. If I've got a synth up, like a bass, and then you can, that's where they really come into play. And again, you know, you've got so many different parameters mapped to these. You can like have so much fun. Like I think I've got, yeah, so much that you could do with that. Then we go over to, let me go over to this sound here. I've got this see how much depth you can get.
I can imagine a lot of people programming things to
sound design.
Yeah, for this, because it's a new, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
8 ribbon controllers.
Yeah. So,
I don't know what to make of it yet. I'm sure someone will make something for it though, yeah.
Yeah, but even like, so let's just play something. So what I'll do, I'm going to make sure I've got all clips stopped, and then we'll go through some of the functionality. So I'll start off with this light roads, and you can see I've got a rack effects on this as well. So all of these are already mapped for me. If I touch them, you can kind of see on the screen here, this is echoes, So we can. So you can find what type of effect you want to use. There you go. So we can bring in some drums, right? So now I'll go to track 1 and I've got some drums here, but let me just program something from the ground upwards. Put the metronome on, and if we go to notes mode, I've now got my 4x4 of my drum racks. Now, turn that off. Let me explain what's happening here. We've got fixed length, so I can tell Ableton how long I want my loops to be. So if I want to work on an 8-bar or a 4-bar, it's always going to do that for me whenever I start a clip. So it means that you can move very quickly. Now, quantize-wise, if I just click on this for a second, you can see the notes. We've got quantize, we can do time divisions, but I've got quantize off, right? So if you want to put quantize on, we simply hold quantize and hit the pad, so it will just bring everything straight into time. So I'm going to go back to just my effects layout, okay? So now I might want to overdub over my drums. So just hold shift, and we can just overdub. So that's done. So again, you know, you're moving through the workflow really fast. Go back to session view, and I've got this really cool bass line we're going to pull in, which is on track 2. And then we can go down. Let's just clear that. Let's clear that out, right? So I go clear, get rid of that. And again, it's the same process. I'm in notes mode. You know. So really, really easy to do stuff. I'll just drop that one in.
Yes!
That's what I did.
Oh my God.
And then I'll put some other stuff. Here we go. We can do some stuff with the vocals here. Go back to the bass line. So now if I go over to the master effects, I've got some cool stuff on here as well. So we can hold down device, like I can jump between.
I get devices,
yeah.
Plug A. I know nothing about Ableton's. Devices, but plug in. Oh, it makes Logic seem so boring. You know, I just want to burn Logic and get into. This is the first time I really get it.
You know, it's such an incredible program. There's so many users out there now, and it just gives you the ability to just vibe and jam. Do you know what I mean? And I have to play you this sound as well. I'm not gonna lie. I've got this.
And this is set to a scale, is it?
Yeah, so obviously some of the more intricate things, we can go into shift, we can go into configuration, and we can configure our scales, we can do chords, you can do inversions, triads, we can set the key, we can turn poly on and off. So there's so many things that you can do to configure the pads. So again, you know, you don't have to be a player. And also, even though you're a player, I am, when you set these types of scales, you come outside of your comfort zone and do stuff that you would never technically do, which is the part of I suppose, the creative process, isn't it? You know, like we can all get into this habit of use this, use that, da 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 da. But when you use something like the pads and you're just playing completely different melodies, it's really inspiring. Like
rhythmically with the notes.
Yeah, so play some stuff over the top, and you won't bad note.
What type of sound is it? A pad or?
Yeah, it's just like a. Yeah, and then I can.
That's so cool.
We can go over to here. You see, we can just jump between our tracks. Hold down shift.
I love the amount of pads. It seems very greedy. Yeah. Like it seems I'm getting a lot.
Yeah. So basically, the workflow is super easy.
Yeah.
Right. You can, like I said, you can glide across things. We can go like even with what we've done here. Right. So if I just stop all clips, we'll go to shift, stop all clips. So now we can jump into the step sequencer. So we've got the drums there. If we go over to track 2 where I've got my bass. So let's do, it's random. So now we can go back to this here. Now go back to our master. So we've got our different devices here, you can see. Mate, that was a wonder one. You know, when you get it right, you just get it right.
I can't believe it.
So yeah, you know, some other stuff we'll quickly cover. So, you know, device mode on the touch strip. So they do many different things. So touch strips, you go into volume. So now these control all of the volumes of every track. So you'll see everything's color coordinated. So track 1 is my drums. So bass is on 2. And you got click stop, solos, etc., etc. Sends as well. So whatever you got set up on your sender returns, you know, you got that. Channel strip. So what this does, this takes one track and then it divides all of the parameters on your channel strip across the touch strips as well. So dependent on what you've got set up. So that gives you all that functionality. And then you've got, you know, custom mode, so you can set up the pads how you want. You can customize the unit, you can set up your own CC controls if you're using external synths, etc., etc. So it's very versatile, it's very fast to use, and as you can see, we haven't really touched the computer at all.
No.
You know, once you've opened up your project, it's very hands-on, but you can have so much fun.
And there's a tiny little screen down there we haven't even looked at. What kind of comes up on
as
there?
you can see, this tells us what track we're on. Okay,
Right.
as soon as the touch strips tells me this is volume. Okay, if I'm in device mode,
just enough.
yeah, it tells me what I'm doing, what devices I'm jumping between, as you can see, which is, again, really useful. So yeah, very versatile, and it kind of pushes the technology forward with, you know, how you can kind of integrate with Ableton at a very affordable price point. You know?
With that being said, is there anything that comes with it? Traditionally, is there a Ableton?
Yeah, so you get Ableton,
software?
you get Ableton Live Lite. So that gets you up and running, but most people already have a copy of Ableton anyway. But anyone who's coming into this new, that is really interested in basically a product that allows you to jam, produce, have fun, and even do live performances and all of that stuff, right? It's the perfect scenario because, again, it's very affordable to do that. It comes with some instruments as well. We put some like effects plugins and all that stuff in there as well, so you can have some fun. But it gives you everything you need. And again, even if we pull up a synth, like let's just say, for instance, I'll just show you some mapping, right? So if I go to, let me go to this channel here. We'll go to, I'm just going to go to one of my plugins. We'll go to plugins, VST, Serum. Here we go. Let me pull up Serum. And I can just show you how this maps as well. So Serum's on here now, okay? Now, if we go into notes mode, there it is. I'm just going to pick a sound. Normally, if you pick the first sound, it should be, oh, that's not bad, actually. Now, what's really cool, when you, if you put this into, say, look, just MIDI mode here, right? So we can now map this to do whatever we want. If we want to say, let's map, say, let me go into here. Let's go, cut off, watch, bang, there you go. Number 2, there you go. So what it's doing here, it's just mapping everything that I'm touching.
To this consecutive touch strip. What a well thought out thing. No way, so you've just mapped 8 parameters to 8 touch strips.
In about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So really quick.
Andy Max the goat.
It's
the goat.
Yeah. It takes things to a whole kind of new level for you.
It just makes me want to try Ableton out. And then I think, I don't have any social media as well, but the visual nature of it, I can see loads of people. In terms of communicating your music, it's the hands-on nature is going to be great for people filming it.
But remember as well, so now that you've got that on, if we just go to, let's just go to an Ableton effect. I'm just going to go to, let's just go to reverb. Let's just go to a
It's going to get a lot of people trying Ableton out this.
So now
I'm fearful of learning the menu system, but I'm much happy if I think I'm learning a hardware system.
let's just say we've got that sound, we're like, oh God, I love that sound, I just want to quickly do something with it, right? We always tend to do stuff right on the spot.
Yeah.
So let's go shift, stop. And do you know what, sometimes that's the best way to do things as well, isn't it? It's like you have an idea. So we're on notes. So we could either do that in the step sequencer, right? We could either go to the step sequencer and start punching notes in and doing whatever we want. So we could actually clear what we've already done here. So we've gone clear, and now I'm ready to actually use this sound in the step sequencer. So I could, so there we go. So we could go. And then you go back to that device. And then we'll go to polyphonic as well. So you've got 16 notes polyphonic as well across each track. So then we can go to, we'll go back to track 1. So we're in session view now. So I just go back, you can see that I'm going back here, and we just drop the drums in. Then I go to the master effects, which is here, jump between the devices. You know, just throwing it on the spot, you know. Don't judge me.
Whoa, no. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut because I'm sure all the ideas that people are having, seeing this, I'm having, and I'm guilty of often going, well, you could do this with it. And they're like, duh. So yeah, what an amazing bit of kit. And finally something that when you said the price, I'm like, oh, that's less than what I thought it was. Because it seems like the last, especially the last 3-4 months, we have some stuff here that where it's a bit Venezuelan on the old pricing index.
What it is, but the thing is, you know, when you look at a product, it has to be affordable for people, you know, especially to get into music. You know, people want something affordable to see if they've got an interest in music as well. You know, you remember when it'd be like, oh God, you know, I've got £500, I want to get involved and make some music, and they want to invest to see where the journey takes them. So having something where you have all the software combined, you've got all this functionality, it's really a perfect match for them. But remember, we haven't even finished there. If we jump into standalone mode, I've brought some just modules and stuff down with us. Let's plug it in and I show you what you can do as a completely different user. So anyone who's into live jamming, who's got synths at home, you know, who technically might not want to use the DAW or might do, you know, vice versa, we can now kind of look at that setup. So let's flip it over.
Press button edit.
Cool.
Oh, and we are standalone.
We certainly are. So here we go. So all we do, we go into global, okay, and we change this from obviously Ableton Live to standalone. So now, let me just walk through this setup of what I've got. So I've got step sequencer, I've got 8 tracks, okay, and I think we're only using 4 anyway, okay. So each track, you set it up to however you want it. So I've got 16 MIDI channels across the 2 MIDI outs. So I've got number 1, which is going to the synth here, right? So if I hit number 1, I go to notes mode, and I've assigned touch strips to envelopes, attack, and that's all on that side, okay? So I can go chord mode now. Okay, track 2, got the drums. So when you configure the step sequencer, you can either do it in notes or drums mode as well. So that will then correspond to the MIDI notes for a drum machine. So if we go to step sequencer here, so I've got here. So I can just hit kick and we can just push that in. It's also velocity sensitive as well. So the harder I hit the pads, the harder the entry will be. However, we've got some really cool stuff as well. So on here, we've got velocity, probability, and mutate. So let me just fly through those for a second. So if we go, let's find some hi-hats real quick. So we'll go, choose those ones, okay. So I will draw them in. If we go to probability, we can go, well, maybe we want it at, say, kind of 50%, 60%. So if we just punch these in, or we could just remove them all, and let's draw them in now. The probability of that playing is going to be between 65–70%. So you can create some really nice dynamics that way. Now, if we go to the mother 32, which I've got on number 3 via CV. So what I'm doing, I'm going out on the gate, the oscillator, and the cutoff. The cutoff is assigned to here, and the way that works is very simple. We go to global, and we go to we go down and we go CV1. Okay, which I've got on track 3, and then I'm sending, here we go, I'm sending gate, then on CV2, channel 3, I'm sending pitch, and then on CV3, I'm sending on fader 1, and then obviously you just plug it into whatever you want, so it's really easy to set up.
Yeah.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, it did to me. I'm never brave enough to do those type of things, but again, this made me feel brave.
I was never big on the CV thing, right? I have had to dive into it, especially, you know, doing demos and stuff. And it's fascinating because the more you do it, the more you learn. But it's actually a really interesting part of sound design and experimenting with new sounds and stuff. You know, I really do encourage anybody to get involved with it because it's fascinating, and you can make some incredible music. So I've got so on number 3. That thing just sounds just vicious.
It does, yeah.
So if we want to add that to it, let's take this note here. Okay, so we'll go step sequencer. I'll stay in velocity at the moment. So there we go. So this note here. So let's just do some randoms. Randomize. Now if we go to mutate, okay, mutate, so we want to flip the pitch, okay, so we'll go So up and down an octave. Now, if I bring in the synth,
and the hi-hats are still evolving.
yeah, but what we can do with the hi-hats as well, I could go, we can go mute, okay? So on here, we've got different parameters. I could go, and remember, these are still all assigned. So these are all assigned. So that's how you can jam.
Amazing. Apologies, Oz, if we had to mute the mics there, we were getting excited.
Yeah, we was getting a bit excited there, wasn't
But
we?
hopefully that shows, you showed it off brilliantly, mate. And I'm sure we'll do videos on it in the future. Is this, when the video comes out, I'm
it
seeing
will
this
be in the shops.
be in the shops.
Yeah.
So click on the links below for all the information and you can get it from us.
Yeah. So what we'll do now, we can just go in and let's just erase some of this and let's have a jam, man. I see you've got something there already, so we can have a jam along.
I
want to join
thought you
in?
might be interested in this because it's an amazing talk box as well, and this has a lot of dirt on it that I know you like for the talk box. But thanks so much for watching. Thanks Oz as well for sorting this all out. A lot of plugging in, but yeah, what a bit of kit. Finally, something that's seems the right price and opens up some possibilities instead of just we're going to moan about it. This is great. Awesome. Thanks, mate. Let's jam.
Yes, jam.